Let's hear Ms. Padma Shastry, expert on inclusive education and founder of Samam Vidya, provide insights to help teachers understand the speech and language difficulties they might come across in students in classroom setups, how teachers can suspect speech difficulties in classrooms, and what are some issues faced by children in language acquisition.
So we see three kinds of difficulties in the classroom: developmental, speech and language. Developmental speech difficulties are first seen by the families, by the parents, because it starts anytime after the age of 1. You will start seeing delays. From the classroom perspective, we will see speech issues, and I'm talking about when teachers notice these things and then refer to a specialist, a speech language pathologist. So as a teacher, one of the first things we also have to consider is whether the student can hear well and see well. So these are the basic questions that we have to determine before we decide that there is a bigger problem. Can the child hear? And a hearing assessment is absolutely useful before we jump into the deeper specialized consultations. So we generally look for issues like drooling in the classroom, and if we see excessive drooling, excessive saliva spray during speech, so these are this is one of the signs that we will talk to parents about referring to a specialist. Another sign that we see is enunciation, where pronunciation, articulation is not clear. And of course, this is, we look at also the age of this child. Some younger children will have enunciation and pronunciation problems, but it has to be age appropriate. If we see that it is not age appropriate, then we will refer we'll talk to the parent about taking the child to a speech pathologist. And so this could be for issues like cleft lip, lisp, and dental issues. If the teeth are not coming in the proper location, and there could be tongue issues. It's the structure of the mouth, the bones of the face that can create all these articulation and pronunciation problems. One other thing that we usually talk to parents about is voice modulation, because as children grow in school, they usually understand what is an indoor voice and what is an outdoor voice, and when they are supposed to be loud and when they are supposed to be soft. And if the child is using a loud voice inside a classroom or a soft voice on the playground, that means the child is not able to understand the environment in which the voice has to be modulated in a particular way. So this is another issue where we talk to parents about taking the child to a speech pathologist. Then we see with older kids language issues. Language issues is where the speech is coming out fine, but the language has to come from the brain to the to be expressed. And for that, if we find that the child is taking very long to compose an answer, like the child has understood your question but the answer is not coming out, and the child is like thinking and taking time to compose an answer, so this could be a language issue. And as a teacher, I always say could be, because we are referring to a specialist and the specialist will make the diagnosis. And another thing is where a child is able to understand and tell you something but then is not able to write. These are all language issues where the language has to come from the brain out the mouth or through the fingers. So when we see that pathway is not smooth and clear, that could be a language issue, and that is something that a speech language pathologist can help with. I hope this was informative. Please contact your speech language pathologist for any further details.